Hi, my name is Sarah, and I was a national delegate for Bernie Sanders back in 2016 for the state of Colorado. And I have had a lot of friends and family approach me with questions and concerns and sharing a lot of these same concerns around different topics. And I thought, hey, what if I create some videos and just engage a conversation and share my opinion or information that I want to share around these different topics because it might resonate with some of you out there. And if anything, it will engage a conversation around these things. And I think it's really important to engage conversation, differing opinions, and discourse because it helps us to grow and it helps us to seek more knowledge. So, I will start by saying that of all of the candidates that are currently running for office, the only two candidates, if you are a minority in this country, the only two candidates, especially if you are Black or brown in this society, should be Senator Elizabeth Warren or Senator Bernie Sanders. Those are the only two candidates that I would be looking at. And the reason why I say that is because those are the only two candidates who have been vocal about and consistent about their concern and solutions for systemic and institutionalized racism and the inequality and inequity that exists in our varying systems in this country for those who are marginalized and those who are minorities in our society. Those are the only two people that I think that you should be considering at this time right now. There are some differing factors between the two of them, and I just want to discuss some of those things that I see and why I support Bernie Sanders. So between the two of them, they have both been voices of progressive change. When I think of progressive change, what I think of is policy legislation that is working towards the progress or the progression of all the different parts of our society and really representing and including all parts of our society. So those are the only two candidates that I know of that have taken a stance around progressive issues, things that would help support and be foundational for all parts of our society and really build a system that has more equality and equity in it. And with Senator Warren, I have a lot of I hold her in high regard and high esteem. I think she is a powerhouse, and her career and what she has done and the voice that she has been and led, and her presence and her representation as a woman in a seat of leadership, I hold the utmost respect for. What I would say about the difference between Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren is that I've noticed moments throughout her career where she has swayed a little bit on her stance or her opinion, her beliefs. They've swayed sometimes towards, I guess, public opinion or really, mainstream opinion. I would say it in that way. It feels like there's a little bit of a motive to politically position. And to me, that's old school politics. Like old school politics is that, We have had all these politicians who definitely charismatic leaders, well versed in knowledge and well versed in the issues and understanding the popularity of public opinion and speaking to those things. But then, once in the seat of leadership or behind closed doors, operate in a way that is not in integrity with their word. And so, when I see, in politicians, this sway, right, this sort of movement for political positioning, that really doesn't feel good. That's that is not the future of politics that I want for this country, that I want for our leadership. I think it's really important to create an environment where people can have different opinions and views, but be able to stand in them solidly, and be and have a level of consistency in where they stand. Elizabeth Warren, similar to what Bernie Sanders did in 2016, Elizabeth Warren moved from being a Republican to becoming a Democrat. And that's fine. I don't judge that movement at all. But it seemed to be more, again, of a political motive of making that switch, and less of an ideological sort of motive. I have seen her, even in this current election, where she started off strongly in her stance around, healthcare and income and income inequality, and building more social programs, right, that benefit the people, and then sort of take a step back or be a bit more silent or course correct what she's saying based on either public opinion or, mainstream views. I haven't heard her take a strong or have a strong voice in the fact that, those who hold the most wealth, where the wealth is saturated, having more taxes put upon them, or even the need to increase taxes overall, if we want to move into a society where we can support and build a foundation for these different social policies. In some ways, she's been silent in the ways that Bernie Sanders is not. Bernie Sanders has always had a voice and a stance in his career on his values, his beliefs, what he wants for policy and legislation, where he sees America, having progress, what would be progressive. And that has not changed. It has been very consistent over time. And so because of that, I have a sense that when he gets into that seat, he's going to really follow through with what he says, because he's followed through with what he said over the last 40 years. Whereas that sort of flip-flopping or sway or political positioning, that stuff to me feels like, will you be in integrity fully when you get into that position of leadership, fully standing for the people and not catering to, corporations, corporate profits, industry, these different institutions that have way too much power over our leadership. I feel as though the catering piece, the catering to the culture that is dysfunctional and toxic. I mean, that kind of stuff has to end. We can't keep doing that with politics anymore. It's out of integrity. It's incongruent, with the kind of stability of leadership that I think we really need in this country. I'm concerned that she has a super PAC. Bernie Sanders has proven, over the last 4 years that you can build a movement and you can build a campaign that has real power in the saturation of corporate influence and corporate greed. I'll say that. He has shown that by relying on the people, to put their dollars at work, we can create a presence, and we can build a movement of change. And you don't need a super PAC to do that. And that really, we need to be done and put an end to the play and influence of corporate dollars on our leadership and our governing body. Because how can we, as a society, what is lacking here is trust. And how can we build trust with our leadership if they're being influenced by all these external sources through money? I mean, we can't know that they're going to make the decisions that best benefit, the lives of other people over profits when they are that influenced. So super PACs, that needs to go to the wayside. Money needs to not be the controlling aspect of our government anymore. The fact that Senator Warren entertains a super PAC makes me uncomfortable. That feels out of integrity if I really think about the progress we want as a country and the progress we want for our leadership in this country. I'm concerned about the catering to this centrist, moderate establishment Democrats that are sitting in these seats of power, because this old concept, this antiquated structure of government is not serving us anymore. And we can see that it's not serving us anymore because of the current administration that we have right now. The saturation of wealth in this country that we have in such a small section of this country to hold that much saturation of wealth, 1% over, the rest of the 99%. It's just more proof that the form and the structure of government that we've had is not working. It's not working anymore. And so to cater to the dysfunction and the toxicity that exists currently, to cater to that doesn't feel like progress. That feels like more of the same, or possibly even creating an environment where we could take some steps backward, right? And we're already seeing that backward migration happening with this current administration. So we really need effective change, and it can't be it can't cater to the toxicity and the dysfunction that is existing right now. that just doesn't work. That's not progress. I have heard Senator Warren talking about the need for big structural change, and her actions would show differently if she's catering to the same structure that exists. It's not big structural change. I have a lot of admiration for anybody who has thrown their hat in the ring right now. But if we have any chance of making change that will move us forward, and almost in a radical way, to be so anti what is in existence right now, we really need someone who has the kind of consistency and has shown throughout and has been vocal and passionate and in their convictions for the kind of change that progress needs, the kind of change that real equity and equality needs in this country. And I really believe that Bernie Sanders is the only one who I feel like has built trust, a level of trust, a level of commitment, a level of follow through that we can really believe in and support wholeheartedly. I am over and have been over, especially since 2016, the aligning with the lesser of two evils. And if it is possible to make an environment, an opportunity where there is a figure for leadership that really embodies my values so thoroughly, I cannot wait for that moment. And I feel like there's so many of you out there who cannot wait for that moment. And so because of that, I think we all need to do what we can and have been doing as we've created this grassroots movement. Because it truly is a movement. It truly is a community-centered, community-powered movement here towards real progress. And I feel like it's a very exciting opportunity. So if you have liked this video and you want more content like this, please like or hit subscribe below. And most of all, engage conversation, but please do so respectively. Again, differing opinions are where we grow, how we innovate, how we connect, how we build relationship, how we see the world outside of ourselves. And so when we engage in these topics that can be hot button topics, let's do so with the utmost respect and be in integrity with who we are. Because what we all want is, we all want a world that holds all of us in the best form possible, right? And so participate, engage. Thanks for listening. Have a good time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.